Hello, my name is David H. Gonzalez, Superintendent of Schools. United ISD's number one priority is providing meaningful learning experiences that will empower students to thrive in the 21st century. To accomplish this, we prioritize the safety and security of all students, staff, parents, and members of our UISD community. Our employees and students participate in numerous emergency drills because we want everyone to be prepared in the event of an emergency. Safety is a shared responsibility. It takes everyone to practice scenarios in an effort to respond to situations with swift and life-saving measures.
Greetings. My name is Gloria Rendon, Deputy Superintendent for United Independent School District. The United Independent School District uses the standard response protocols created by the I Love You Guys Foundation as part of their Emergency Operations Plan. The Emergency Operations Plan is designed to establish procedures to crisis using the standard response protocol. Crises can range from threats and hazards such as severe weather or wildfires, adversarial, incidental, and human-caused threats or hazards such as active shooters or irate visitors on campus. They can also be unusual, for example, an airplane crash or cyber attack. The Standard Response Protocol, or SRP, consists of hold, secure, lock down, evacuate, and shelter.
To continue the SRP model, at United ISD, it is important to know that all classrooms, offices, public areas, such as cafeterias or hallways, display the SRP poster. If you see a high-traffic area or a classroom without an SRP poster, or if more posters are required, please contact your campus site safety compliance officer or email safety@uisd.net. You could also visit www.uisd.net/keepuisdsafe and submit a safety survey. Before we go over the protocols, it is important that all stakeholders are made aware of the importance of being empowered to call an SRP protocol. In addition, it's important to have situational awareness to allow you to respond in a moment of crisis. The United ISD Emergency Operations Plan establishes 3 principles for school safety during a crisis: establishing the Incident Command System, District Emergency Response Team, and Campus Emergency Response Team in an effort to establish hierarchy of authority and denote responsibilities during an emergency. The incident commander has the responsibility of managing the incident by establishing objectives, planning strategies, and implementing actions associated with the standard response protocols. The incident commander can be interchanged with an individual with higher authority depending on the type of situation. Note that for criminal intent situations, the incident commander will always be the first law enforcement officer on scene. Standard practice in law enforcement allows for the possibility to relinquish the responsibility of incident commander to an agency who has additional resources beyond United ISD's jurisdiction. For events in which the scene is developing or manageable without the use of law enforcement, and the incident commander will be the campus principal or other authorized individual from the Campus Emergency Response Team or the District Emergency Response Team. Your campus also encompasses a dedicated team of individuals who hold the responsibility of school safety procedures and operations at the time of need and throughout their career, appointed by your campus administrator. They're known as members of the CERT or Campus Emergency Response Team. They include, but are not limited to, assistant principals, school counselors, school nurse, front office staff, teacher leads, librarians, campus police or security guards, cafeteria and custodial staff. They can be identified as part of the CERT by looking at their employee ID badge. A neon pink identifier on their employee badge will illustrate their identification in the CERT. The CERT team, under the leadership of the principal, is responsible for the following: implement district emergency operations and recovery plan for the school or building needs. Establish a systematic approach for identifying, referring, and intervening with students identified as at risk for suicide or destructive behaviors. orienting staff to procedures and providing training to fulfill designated roles, including conducting drills. Provide information to students, staff, and community on crisis management referral procedures. Define clear emergency response roles for all schools and building staff. Ensure that students in portable classrooms are accommodated depending on circumstances. Ensure students with special needs and in/or special needs classrooms are supported as needed in each circumstance. While campus or department emergency response teams are best equipped to anticipate and handle emergencies at their particular location, significant situations don't occur in a vacuum and affect us throughout the district and the community. The District Emergency Response Team, or DIRT, provides valuable district-wide support and is composed of key staff, community, as well as representatives from local law enforcement and emergency response agencies. DIRT will meet with the Office of the Superintendent and the School Safety and Security Committee periodically throughout the year, and as needed during a crisis. The District Emergency Response Team's permanent employees are The goals of the District Emergency Response Team are to forge community relationships before a crisis occurs, serve as a sounding board and planning review committee, provide assistance with planning, coordination, and training, help clarify the division of duties in a crisis, help foster community dialogue about safety. The role of the District Emergency Response Team is to respond to incidents that affect district sites, support CERTs in the event of a critical incident, serve as lead DIRT in a catastrophic event, operate communication and command center, handle mass communication and media, organize volunteers and donations, serve as a liaison with other agencies and intervention teams. Responsibilities of the District Emergency Response Team: initiate District Standard Response Protocol, also known as SRP. Define clear crisis roles for central office and auxiliary staff. Train, assist, and planning in school and building CERTs. Lead efforts to identify both internal and external hazards that may require protective actions. Make policy and procedures recommendations. Be on call for all crises, district and building. Establish and communicate school-safe conditions and safety precautions and procedures. Develop and provide regular crisis management and multi-hazard training for district and school personnel through CERTs. Evaluate crisis response actions and coordinate debriefing sessions. Mitigate incident recovery efforts. All staff in a moment of duress should use SRP to warn others. As staff members, we should all know how this should be done and where. Do you? For example, the campus custodian should be able to make an all call using the standard method of creating public announcements. At United ISD, this is done by dialing a special number and a code into the IP phone system located in every classroom and office within the building. Your campus site compliance officer is to go over the protocols and how-tos of using the public address system prior to the start of the school year with the staff. Review your protocols here. The district also uses Navigate Prepared, an emergency management system that allows access to all campus members to call standard response protocols via the Navigate Prepared mobile application or via Google Chrome. Training on the Navigate Prepared application should be received prior to the start of the school year. Another form of empowerment is to act upon your gut instinct. If you feel something is not right, question it. Say and do something. Tell your supervisor, teacher, or campus police to address your concerns. Situational awareness is being aware of what is happening around you in terms of where you are, where you're supposed to be, and whether anyone or anything around you may be a threat to your well-being or to others. Situational awareness in education means being aware of who and what is on school grounds. Most threats are man-made, so schools should always know who is on campus, from students and employees to vendors and visitors, and be able to identify anyone who's not supposed to be there or is behaving in a way that raises an internal alarm. For example, displaying an angry or intense demeanor or wearing heavy clothing that is inappropriate for the weather. Suspicious objects, such as unattended bags or unidentified vehicles that do not seem to belong, should also be assessed as potential threats. An important lesson of situational awareness training is to take these notifications of danger seriously so you can make the best decision for responding should a threat become a reality. Situational awareness is a three-step process, and these are the essential actions. Recognition, being alerted to something out of the ordinary that could pose a threat. Assessment, analyzing the situation and your response options. Response, taking direct action to increase the chance of diffusing the threat. Let's practice. Do you know how many exits there are in your room right now? What will be the exit you will use? Where is the north? How many windows are there? Take time to know as much as you can about your surroundings to be prepared.
So let's continue. What consists of the Standard Response Protocol? The United Independent School District's Emergency Operations Plan defines the Standard Response Protocol as hold, secure, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter. The key to the Standard Response Protocol is that there is a simple, universal shared language between staff, parents, students, and first responders. And when used, everyone involved shares the same expectations. It is important that everyone be on the same page. So if something happens in one of our schools, first responders know how we are responding and be better equipped to assist us. We know this works because teachers and staff are given the same training. The same language is shared with students, so students know what to do. It's also important that our parents know our protocols. SRP is based on 5 actions that we take during an incident or an emergency: hold, secure, lock down, evacuate, and shelter. Each action is followed by a directive. Every action then has a specific instruction of what to do in an emergency. When these are called on the PA, through Navigate, or through the phone intercom system, the action and directive are repeated. For example, hold in your classroom. Hold in your classroom.
Let's start with the message. The message should be, hold in your classroom. Hold in your classroom. It is used when we need to keep the corridors and hallways clear of students. It might be a medical emergency, or a hazmat spill in the hallways, or something else that needs a cleanup. A hold may be localized to one area of the school, or it could be for the entire school. Student instructions. Here's what students should do. If you're in the hallway, go to your assigned classroom. Otherwise, students and teachers remain in their classrooms until the all clear is announced. Teacher instructions. Teachers, here's what you do. Remain in the classroom with your students until the all clear is announced. Teachers should also close and lock the door. It can also be opened for any students that needs to get out of the hallway. Students should also verify that everyone is still in class, either through Navigate or Red Bag information. It's a good idea to note the time that the attendance was taken. Continue the normal activities in the classroom. Discussion. What about class changes? You will remain in your class even if the bell rings. If you're in the hallway, an announcement might be made to go to the nearest classroom or proceed to your next scheduled class. Is this a lockdown? No. We'll talk about lockdown in a bit. With the whole protocol, we don't want what's happening in the hallway to spill into the classroom. Students remain in their seats, continue lessons, or if lessons are done, students may be given time to read or study. The next SRP protocol is secure. The message heard will be, secure, get inside, lock outside doors. Secure, get inside, lock outside doors. Why? This means there is a threat outside of the building. There might be criminal activity, or civil unrest, or a dangerous animal outside. If there are exterior doors leading to classrooms, make sure they're closed and locked. Teachers may also be asked to check if nearby exterior doors are locked. Almost always, it's business as usual in the building. Student instructions. Let's start with student instructions on what to do in a secure protocol. The first one is simple. Get in the building. For the most part, it's business as usual inside the building. If the secure protocol lasts into recess or lunch, no one comes in or goes out. No visitors. So we're staying in the building. Same thing is true at the end of the school day. Depending on what's going on, we may have to stay in the building, or students that walk home may have to call their parents to be picked up. Business as usual inside the school building. Let's look at what a teacher should be doing during the secure protocol. Teacher instructions. Bring everyone inside. But that brings up a question about notification when students or staff are outside. How are they notified? Radio system, PA system, phone intercom system? Make sure the staff knows what you'll use in your school. If there are exterior doors in the classroom, make sure they're locked. Teachers may also be asked to check if nearby exterior doors are locked. Teachers should also verify that everyone is still in class through Navigate or Red Bag information. It's a good idea to note what time attendance was taken. Almost always, it's business as usual inside the building. There is a life cycle during secure. Staff will lock all outside doors, and initially, no one is allowed in or out. Secure can evolve into a controlled release. Depending on the incident, it can eventually be safe to release the students to parents. We call that a controlled release. Or secure can evolve into a monitored entry. Depending on the incident, it might be safe to monitor who is allowed to enter the school building.
The third SRP is lockdown. Keep in mind that a lockdown protocol is more serious. The message you will hear is lockdown, locks, light, out of sight. Lockdown, locks, light, out of sight. Why would a lockdown protocol be initiated? A lockdown is used when there is a threat inside the school building. There may be a report of a weapon on campus or something worse. There could be an armed intruder or some other threat inside the building. I would like to introduce to everyone the concept of establishing time barriers. It has been proven in numerous studies that a locked classroom door is a proven time barrier. The U.S. Department of Justice has studied these events. 70% of violent incidents are over in 5 minutes, while 90% are over within the first 10 minutes. In 2015, the Sandy Hook Commission released their summary report, which found that the #1 environmental design recommendation for safety was the ability to lock the classroom door from inside the classroom. Everyone should have the ability to lock a classroom or office door. The Commission found 0 cases of a gunman breaching a locked classroom door. 0. At United ISD, the standards of safe practices state that all classroom doors are locked. All classroom doors within the school building and in portables must be locked. The slide magnet must be in place over the strike plate to allow anyone in the classroom to quickly lock and secure the classroom. If your door does not have a magnetic strip or does not properly work, contact your campus site safety compliance officer. Let's review what students should do during a lockdown protocol. So students will hear the following. Lockdown, locks, lights, out of sight. Lockdown, locks, lights, out of sight. If students are in a classroom, the first thing is to stay out of sight from the classroom door window. How does one know you're out of sight? If you cannot see out the door hall window, then no one in the hall can see you. Second, sit on the floor in the area indicated as the visual blind spot and get low. Lay flat if possible. Look for the tape indicator on the floor, which will run diagonally out of the line of sight in a classroom. The indicator, a black and yellow tape on the floor, serves the purpose of indicating the start and the end of the blind spot from a door window. Students and staff are to stay in the blind spot area or find an alternative hiding spot. Once out of sight, be absolutely silent. Turn your phone to silent mode in the initial stages of a lockdown. If there is an actual lockdown, you'll get a chance to communicate with others later. Do not open the door for anyone. Administrators or law enforcement will unlock the door and release the individuals in the room. If someone identifies themselves as law enforcement and asks that the door be opened, do not open the door. What if there is no teacher or adult where you are? Get behind a locked door as soon as possible, or if the threat is not in your immediate vicinity, evacuate the area. What if a student is in a hallway when a lockdown is called? Get to a classroom, any classroom, office area. Just move out of the hallway as quickly as you can and follow the lockdown protocols. If classrooms are already locked, then find a place to hide. Do not go from classroom to classroom. Evacuating the area may be another option. Two final messages here. Should the fire alarm go off during a lockdown, do not evacuate. Wait for an announcement. Second, once law enforcement administration opens the door, do not hold up your cell phones upon their entry. Remember that law enforcement may have just been involved in a serious incident and they are walking into a dark classroom. Flashing a phone or taking pics with flash or no flash should not be the priority, and we do not want to have them mistake a cell phone for a weapon. Let's look at what teachers should do during a lockdown protocol. When you hear lockdown, locks, light, out of sight, depending on what you see and hear, you may want to view the hallway area for other students. If the threat is close to your classroom, focus on getting the door locked and closed as quickly as possible. A locked classroom door is a proven lifesaver. Turn off the lights and move students to the designated blind spot area. Be silent and make all attempts to maintain student silence. Silence your phone as well. The next question is, should the door window be covered? A teacher should determine if all students can safely be placed in the blind spot area. Remember, this is a line of sight determined from standing as close as possible to the door window in the hall and indicating the blind spot area. If teachers can determine that all students do not fit in this area, then covering your window is the best practice. Create a way to cover your window in a form that is quick and efficient. Law enforcement agencies are recommending that no messages are slipped under classroom doors into hallways. With regards to classroom window blinds that overlook outside, the district recommends that they be left as is. It is more important to stay out of the line of vision from the hallway and to stay low. A lockdown may be ended with a PA announcement, a phone intercom announcement, or when administration or police open the door and have a controlled release of the room or school. If you can, teachers, take attendance. Note if you have missing students or extra students that have taken shelter from the hall in your class. Note the time. You probably won't need to do anything with this roster at this point, but a record of accountability is being created and may be useful over the entire course of the event. If available and appropriate, use Navigate Prepare to do this. During a drill, this should always be done. If you have not been trained on Navigate Prepared or do not have access, visit your campus site safety compliance officer. A few other instructions with regards to lockdown protocols. If a group or class is outdoors and a lockdown protocol is called, do not go back into the building. Rather, go to a safe location. If you can, notify someone at the school of your location. If the fire alarm is activated during a lockdown, stay in the classroom unless you see fire or if smoke is filling your classroom. If you must evacuate due to fire or smoke, the hallway may not be your best option to evacuate. Consider using an alternate door or window. In the time immediately after a lockdown is called, remain silent and silence your phone. As the event evolves, you'll be given an opportunity to use your phone to make contact with those outside of the school setting. United ISD uses an automated messaging system that will message parents and employees as soon as a lockdown is confirmed. This can usually take 5 to 10 minutes from the start of a lockdown. Thus, it is important that staff and student contact information data is up to date. Lockdown protocols have evolved throughout the years and have become multifaceted, incorporating many new techniques and best practices for staff and students to use when needed. United ISD has created a separate video focusing just on active threat and shooter situations. Review the video at www.uisd.net. The next SRP is evacuate. Evacuation is how to move students in an orderly fashion from point A to point B. In the event of a fire drill, you may hear, "Evacuate out of the building." Evacuate out of the building. With the SRP, evacuate is always followed by a location. During an evacuate situation, the message will be similar to this: evacuate to the gym. Evacuate to the gym. During an evacuation situation, students should do the following: leave your belongings behind unless instructed to bring with you. Be sure to listen for any new directions. Teachers, campus staff members, as well as students, there may be cases where students will be let out by campus staff members, and there may also be situations which will require that students be let out by law enforcement. Regardless of the situation, teachers, be sure to take student attendance through the Navigate Prepared application or through the red bag practice. Please note the time of attendance. Let's go back and review some critical components should law enforcement lead your evacuation. When it comes to evacuating the building during a lockdown or other law enforcement controlled event, a law enforcement officer or campus administrator will open the door and announce his or her name and the department or agency they represent. Law enforcement will ask staff and students to follow their instructions, such as lining up in a single file and leaving personal items behind. Law enforcement may also ask individuals to hold hands as a group is walking out. In some cases, during the evacuation process, officers will want to verify that students aren't at further risk. They may search students and staff members. Officers may utilize a combination of verbal or hand signals. As you leave the premises, follow the pace of the line. Do not stop until you reach the location you have been directed to. The teacher or staff member in your group will verify attendance again. Wait for further instructions. Do not leave your group. Once everyone reaches the final assembly area, the teacher or staff member will check attendance once again. If attendance was taken during the lockdown, verify that the same students are at the final meeting point. During an active violence event, another option is to self-evacuate. It is recommended that students and staff practice situational awareness. Be alert of surroundings and evaluate exit points. If there is an escape path, attempt to evacuate. Evacuate whether others agree to or not. Leave your belongings behind. Help others escape if possible. Prevent others from entering the area. Call 911 when you are safe. Your campus site safety compliance officer will establish sites which are deemed as safe in the case that you are to reunite after an evacuation. These sites may be different from those of a fire evacuation. They may be the school next door, a church across the street, or an area away from the campus. If you do not know where the local reunification area is, ask your teacher or campus site safety compliance officer. The final SRP is the shelter protocol. Shelter protocol is how we respond to a hazard or something dangerous. It could be environmental, like a tornado or earthquake. It might be something like a chemical spill nearby. The announcement for this might just be the hazard and may include the safety response. In either case, we repeat it. For example, tornado, get to the storm shelter area. Tornado, get to the storm shelter area. Listen for instructions. The situation may be very dynamic. Always be prepared for the unexpected. During a shelter event, teachers should try to take attendance and note the time.
The district has an extensive communication system outside of each campus site. United ISD comprises 30 elementary schools, 12 middle schools, 4 high schools, 4 ninth grade campuses, 1 6th grade campus, and 2 specialized schools, the Cherry Center and SIP Academy. All campuses have at least 1 dedicated police officer and security guards. The United ISD Police Department has a dispatch center that operates 24/7 and can be reached at 956-473-6361 for non-life-threatening emergencies. The dispatch center has access to all surveillance cameras, keyless access control systems, and permissions. Also, communication with the Laredo Police Department and Laredo Fire Department. The school district also has an automatic message system known as Parent Square, which will send out alerts advising parents of the situation. In addition, social media and district websites will keep track and post updates as they develop. When it comes to school safety and security, United ISD takes all situations seriously. Report any safety concerns to a parent, guardian, a trusted adult, campus administration, or United ISD Police Department. Remember, if you see something, say something. Everyone is reminded to avoid posting content on social media that may be considered threatening or that may be false. Reports of threats, bullying, or safety concerns can be made anonymously through the district website at www.uisd.net/keepuisdsafe or by calling Crime Stoppers 727-TIPS. School safety and security is part of United ISD's mission in providing a high-quality education. Remember to be aware of your surroundings. School safety is a shared responsibility, and it starts with you. For questions, comments, or concerns about your safety, contact your campus department's site safety compliance officer. Email safety@uisd.net or visit www.uisd.net/keepuisdsafe.